High-fat diets, especially those high in saturated fats, are a bit like the bad guests of the dietary world. They show up uninvited, trash the place, in this case your intestinal lining, rile up the immune system, and then leave behind a mess of inflammation, microbial chaos, and metabolic confusion. But even in this chaotic party, a few bouncers might help contain the damage. Enter vitamin D and zinc, two micronutrients that seem to play surprisingly effective cleanup crews for the immunological wreckage left by greasy indulgences. Let's start with vitamin D, long famous for its role in bone health, but increasingly recognized as a steroid-like immune regulator. Vitamin D modulates the activity of various immune cells, particularly those involved in mucosal immunity. It supports the expression of antimicrobial peptides such as cathelicidins and defensins, enhances tight junction integrity in the gut epithelium, and dampens inflammatory cytokine production. Critically, it promotes the differentiation of regulatory T cells, TREGs, the peacekeepers that stop the immune system from spiraling into chronic overreaction, a common fate in high-fat-induced gut inflammation. In animal models, vitamin D deficiency exacerbates the effects of high-fat diets, leading to more severe metabolic endotoxemia, increased gut permeability, and higher systemic levels of pro-inflammatory cytokines like IL-6 and TNF-A. Conversely, vitamin D supplementation appears to reverse or blunt some of these changes. In mice, restoring vitamin D signaling during high-fat feeding improved gut barrier function and even normalized IL-22 production, a key cytokine for epithelial defense and immune balance. Translation to humans is still underway, but early data are promising. In obese individuals or those with metabolic syndrome, low serum vitamin D levels are correlated with greater gut leakiness, insulin resistance, and immune dysfunction. Supplementation trials suggest modest but significant improvements in inflammatory biomarkers and glucose metabolism, particularly in those who were deficient to begin with. Zinc, meanwhile, operates on a different but complementary level. It's an essential trace element for the immune system and is especially critical in mucosal tissues. Zinc stabilizes tight junctions between intestinal epithelial cells, helps regulate oxidative stress, and acts as a cofactor for over 300 enzymes, including many involved in immune signaling. Like vitamin D, zinc also supports IL-22 production by sustaining the function of innate lymphoid cells, ILC3S, that are often suppressed during high-fat feeding. It also directly inhibits NF-B, the molecular alarm bell that kicks off inflammatory responses when microbial fragments like LPS sneak past a damaged gut barrier. Studies show that zinc deficiency can dramatically worsen the effects of a high-fat diet. In rodent models, combining zinc deficiency with a high-fat diet leads to accelerated gut barrier breakdown, microbiome shifts toward pathogenic species, and more severe hepatic steatosis and inflammation. Even mild zinc insufficiency makes the gut more susceptible to inflammatory triggers. Supplementation, on the other hand, has been shown to reduce the expression of pro-inflammatory cytokines, increase goblet cell function, those mucus-producing champions of gut health, and support tissue regeneration. In human studies, zinc supplementation has shown benefits in populations with chronic inflammation, metabolic syndrome, or gut disorders. For example, zinc improves outcomes in inflammatory bowel disease, which shares many immune features with high-fat-induced gut inflammation. In obese individuals, zinc supplementation improves antioxidant status and reduces inflammatory markers like CRP, though results are variable depending on baseline zinc status, dose, and duration. The catch, of course, is that neither vitamin D nor zinc are miracle cures. They can buffer the immunological fallout of high-fat meals, but they don't erase it. A supplement does not grant permission to live on fried chicken and cheese fries. Moreover, excessive intake of either nutrient can backfire. Too much vitamin D can promote calcium imbalances, while excess zinc can impair copper absorption and paradoxically weaken immunity. Context matters. These nutrients work best when correcting a deficiency or supporting an otherwise healthy system, not when being used to patch a chronically overburdened immune gut axis. Still, the potential is real. Instead of thinking of vitamin D and zinc as isolated supplements, we might view them as part of a broader nutritional scaffolding that supports resilience. They don't cancel out the effects of high-fat eating, but they can improve immune regulation, reinforce gut barrier integrity, and prevent dietary indulgence from triggering a full-blown inflammatory cascade. In practical terms, that might mean emphasizing foods rich in these nutrients, like fatty fish, eggs, oysters, pumpkin seeds, and fortified dairy, in diets already aimed at reducing inflammation. In short, if you're going to dance with dietary devils, it helps to have molecular bodyguards. Vitamin D and zinc may not stop the music, but they might keep the gut from burning down the dance floor.